What's up, everybody? It's Chad with Code Footwear. I wanted to show everybody a little bit of my progression as a basketball athlete growing up from what I used to wear to what I am now currently wearing. 20 years ago in high school, I was wearing these Air Jordans, and it was about that same time at age 18 that I realized my feet were in really, really bad shape. You play basketball for 3 hours a day and then switch into your other Nikes or Jordans that are pretty much the exact same shape. And our bodies are very highly adaptable. And when you wear these shoes from morning till night, your toes find a way to fit into those predetermined shapes. That in combination with shoes at this time were also just some really stiff pieces going on that my foot wasn't flexing or moving this shoe very well. And for one, there's a big rubber bumper right where the shoe should be flexing, so the thickness of that doesn't help your foot move in this shoe. But two, when you have such a narrow toe box and your toes get forced into that shape, you're then relying on this big cantilevered piece to stop you from spraining an ankle. So if you envision your foot in there like this, and then you hit that ledge that your foot starts rolling over, you're now not just rolling over on the side of your foot like you normally would, you're adding this into it. So the time that it takes to get from here to here, it snaps over much harder and makes ankle sprains actually way worse when you add these big bumpers that companies will tell you, almost they add it to say that it's going to keep you from rolling your ankle. It gives you more stability and support, and it's such a terrible thing that actually makes ankle sprains worse, because this isn't going to stop anybody from spraining their ankle. It's only going to make the situation worse, unfortunately. So after the next 20 years of playing basketball, I realized that I couldn't wear these shoes all day, every day. And what I recommend to most parents and basketball athletes is to take the shoes off as quickly as you can, because those shoes weren't made for your feet. They help you play the sport of basketball at a higher level than being barefoot, obviously, but you don't want your feet adapting to these shapes and to these higher heel stacks that shorten your Achilles and your calves. So I found that by training barefoot and training in more minimal shoes throughout the day, and then playing basketball shoes was a challenge, because now I'm getting my feet and my toes splayed out more naturally, and I can no longer fit in this shoe with comfort anymore. For one, it's too stiff always for me. I'm a slimmer build of a guy. But two, you can't move when you're feeling cramped and your toes want to be at a better balance. So there's a little bit of a light bulb in my head that said, I can't wear these anymore, and I think I'll be able to play longer if I figure out something that allows me to keep my feet strengthening while I play basketball versus debilitating my feet, which is what I did for the previous 25 years of my life playing basketball. So a great shoe that I recommend for a lot of people in the minimal world that have their feet a little stronger at this point is an Air Jordan 1. This is a low top that I love because it's flexible and minimal up front where my feet want to sense the ground and feel things. So just that freedom up here is golden, and the traction is great on these shoes too. It's got a low stack height in the heel, so there's pretty minimal slope that you're standing on in comparison to a modern day basketball shoe that usually has you up a lot higher in the heel and sloping downhill. The other great thing about an Air Jordan 1, if you get the right pairs, is how soft the leather is up front and here in the toe. And that allows me to put a foot or a shoe expander inside there and actually widen, which is what I did, widen the toe box, because even though my foot still has a little bit of troubles getting into this shape, it helps when you can stretch the shoe out with some steam and some pressure if you can do it. And this is what I'm playing in now. And it's funny, if you line all of these shoes up in the back heel height, 11.5, 11.5, 12, and I would say this one measures probably a 10.5 just in length, but just that width that I have to play in, that feels amazing to finally feel a shoe that allows me foot freedom, stability where I need it, and my toes to do exactly what they need to do. For a lot of you, this is a good test. if you take the insole out of your shoes and then stand on it, and I wear toe spacers a lot to, again, regain the strength and splay back in my toes. If you see exactly what's going on inside the shoe with these insoles, you'll notice that for me to have played basketball in these, my big toe was here and my little toe was here, and I was in this extremely cramped position while trying to play basketball. No wonder I was getting pain everywhere. It's the same with an Air Jordan 1 bottom or the insole, unfortunately. The shape didn't change much underneath the foot, but the advantages, like I explained, are just so much better because your foot has some more freedom, and it's like paper thin here in the midsole. That all in comparison with where this is going, and you can see how amazing it is to be able to stay at a wide balance, to be able to bank off of this thing and push off and not have my toes scrunch up in the shoe, but stay wide and strong. And finally a shoe that actually fits that shape is what's amazing. This was built exactly for my foot, with the freedom for flexibility right where I needed it, stability right where I needed it, so I can actually cut off of the shoe or cut off of this and bank off of the stiffer piece that transitions into a little bit less stiff a piece, completely flexible and soft against the foot. But this shape here allows me to push off while keeping my toes completely free in here and moving the way I want to move. Just being able to have stronger feet and play in a minimal shoe now, I think it changed my game, where I don't play 100% like I used to, where I could just put full effort into changing direction on one foot to, pull a crossover. Those days I think are over because of the reliance I had on a shoe, which is most mass-produced basketball shoes, is that there's so much cushion and so much stability in the shoe. Your feet don't do the work. You can rely on this thing in there that you push off of, and unfortunately what it ends up doing is it puts our bodies into positions that aren't as strong and aren't